likes to be asked. I want to touch on some of the different kinds of prayer. We'll shift to the next slide and look at the spontaneous kind of prayer. We have I'm going to say the formal prayers, but the prayers, we have a prayer time. But I would guess every one of us has had those times where we are blindsided by something, or something is about to happen, and there is a time it's, Lord, help now. And Lord, help is probably the shortest prayer. Psalm 69, and we're going to be looking at several of the Psalms on our way through. Let me encourage you to look at the book of Psalms as a prayer book, as a guidance book, and we'll see in a little bit as to why. The monks, part of the monks, one of the orders, prayed the Psalms in their entirety every day. And one of the reasons is the Psalms gives us the language of prayer, teaches us expressions. Psalm 69 is a spontaneous crisis. Lord, save me, O God, for the flood waters are up to my neck. Deeper and deeper I sink into the mire. I can't find a foothold. I'm in deep water. The floods overwhelm me. Have you ever been in that place? Yeah, certainly have. I'm overwhelmed. Jonah, actually, part of Jonah quotes this psalm. Jonah knew this psalm. He came after the Psalms were written. He knew this psalm, and when the fish swallowed him and he was in the belly, part of his prayer is exactly from this psalm. Lord, help. Lord, help. Is one of that's spontaneous. Then there's the Psalm of Confession, which many of us are quite familiar with. This is the Psalm, if we look at Psalm 51. Remember, what's the context for Psalm 51? Anybody remember? David had just done something really bad. Her name was Bathsheba. And it was somebody else's wife. Not good, not good. So David prays. One of the things I want you to notice when you read Psalms is we grow in understanding the character of God. How do we grow in understanding? Note the verbs that God gets. Okay? Note the verbs that God gets when you read the Psalms. And I'll show you, for example, in Psalm 51. It tells us the character of who God is. Have mercy on me, O God, because of your unfailing love. What character words of God do you hear there? Mercy and what kind of love? Unfailing love. Because of your great compassion. What do we find there of God's character? Compassion. So far, God is merciful, He has unfailing love, and He has compassion. Now, what verbs does God get? Blot out. Wash me clean. Purify me from my sin. I recognize my rebellion. Against you, only have I sinned. Down in verse 6, you desire honesty. God is saying honesty counts. Purify me from my sins. Wash me, and I will be whiter than snow. Give me back my joy again. You have broken me. Remove the stain. Create in me a clean heart, O God. Renew a loyal spirit. Don't take your holy presence. Restore to me. Make me willing. Forgive me. See all these verbs? That tells us about what God does in prayers, in a psalm of confession. So sometimes people begin to develop a character of what God is like, who He is. And so, God is, He just wants to get us. He wants to judge us. We feel condemned. I don't find those kind of verbs in here at all. With God, I get the whole picture that He blots out, He forgives, He renews, He restores. And I have to be honest. And that's in here too. So we find the character of God. So in confession, that's another kind of a psalm, another kind of prayer. We have the protect, complaint of Psalm 64. Lord, please, 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 complain. Oh God, listen to my complaint. Protect, there's a good verb. Listen, that's a good verb. God listens. Protect me from my enemies and threats. Hide me from the plots of this evil mob. So David is pleading to God for protection. And then we find, how do I pray? I can use those words. Have you ever prayed, Lord, protect me? Protect me from those people that are really after me, those people that are, as Joel was talking, those people that aren't saying true things about me. Protect me. Help me to be honest along those ways. And then we have the petition. You might remember the story in 1 Samuel of Hannah. Remember Hannah? And she couldn't have any children, and they went every year. And so this one year she goes, and she's mumbling. She's not saying anything, but she's mumbling. And Eli, the old priest, sees her mouth moving, and he thinks she's, what? Drunk. Yeah. She says, lady, get out of here. And she said, no, I'm pouring out my heart before the Lord. So what's happening there? There's not a verbal prayer coming out, but she's praying with all of her heart, pouring it out. We'll talk in a moment about the unspoken prayers at all. We have, in Psalm 59, a psalm protection. Now, I won't look at the whole psalm, but there's a phrase in here. I don't know if you've ever been bold enough to pray this. In Psalm 59, rescue me from my enemies, protect me, rescue, save me, in the first part. But then down in verse 4, it says, I've done nothing wrong, yet they're preparing to attack me. Wake up! See what's happening and help me. Have you ever told God to wake up? Pay attention. Oh Lord, the heaven's armies, the God of earth, wake up and punish these hostile nations. Show no mercy to these. God, you're not paying attention. There's stuff going on here. Wake up! Have you ever prayed? I don't think I've ever prayed to God and told him to wake up. But the psalmist, see, in the language of prayer, it's out of the depth of our heart. The depth of our heart, and that's the beauty. There's wonderful theology. We learn about the character of God. But I read this psalm and I think, well, maybe it is okay that I'm perfectly honest. Lord, you really frustrate me. I keep praying about this and you don't do anything, as far as I can tell, about it. So, please, this kind of transparency and honesty is a part of prayer, and one of the kinds of prayer. When injustice is done, any of you have ever been wronged in business or wronged in a relationship, you know Psalm 37. It's again a heartfelt psalm from David in a difficult time. I just wanted to touch on in this prayer a commit in verse 5. Commit everything you do to the Lord. Trust him and he'll help you. He will make your innocence radiate like dawn and justice and so forth. Be still in the presence of the Lord. Wait patiently for him to act. And then here's some great advice in verse 8. Stop being angry. Turn from your rage. Don't lose your temper. It only leads to harm. Keep your mouth shut. Blowing up doesn't produce anything. And Psalm 37 is a great conversation that we can have with God. It guides our thoughts in the pattern and in the thoughts of the Lord along the way. Paul gives us some instruction in Philippians. Many of Paul's epistles have portions where they give guidance to prayer. If we look in the New Testament as well as in the Old, in Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians 1:9. I pray, notice how Paul prays for other people and what he prays for. I pray that your love will overflow more and more, and that you will keep on growing in knowledge and understanding. For I want you to understand what really matters, so that you may live pure and blameless lives until the day of Christ's return. May you always be filled with the fruit of salvation, the right character, produced in your life by means of Jesus Christ, for he will bring much glory and praise to God. So how do we pray for other people? What do we pray? Paul gives us some instruction and some guidance and some ideas from Philippians.